At 3 a.m. I woke up for water. Her shadow moved in the hallway. I didn't think much of it until morning. By breakfast, my credit card was gone from the counter where I'd left it. An email alert buzzed my phone. Purchase approved, $4,320. Another one. Then another. Flights. Hotels. Designer bags. In less than 6 hours, $18,000 was gone. All while I was asleep in the next room. I scrolled through the charges: JFK Airport, Fifth Avenue boutiques, a Broadway ticket purchase. It wasn't random theft. It was someone who knew my name, my bank, my habits. By noon I saw the last clue I needed, a selfie posted on Instagram. My sister. First-class cabin seat. Champagne in hand. Caption: New York, baby. I stared at the photo until the screen dimmed. We hadn't spoken much lately. Small-town life had kept me busy with my part-time job and fixing up the old family house. But I never thought she'd see my account as her own travel fund. 2 weeks later she walked back in like nothing happened. Same clothes she left in, same smile. Dad was on the porch sipping coffee. He glanced at me and said, "She'd never touch your money. Don't start drama." I just nodded. There are moments you argue and moments you don't. This was the second kind. Because the card she used wasn't just mine. It had a feature she didn't know about. A feature that would turn her little trip into something much bigger than she could hide. But I wasn't about to explain that. Not yet. I went back inside, sat at the kitchen table and stared at my phone. Sometimes revenge doesn't need noise. It needs timing. Have you ever watched someone hand you the rope they don't know they're about to trip over? That night I opened my laptop. Pulled up the credit card dashboard. Every transaction she made was still sitting there in clean, time-stamped order. She thought she'd gotten away with it because I didn't block the card right away. But what she didn't know: my account had an automatic merchant verification program. Every high-value purchase required a digital signature. And mine wasn't the only one stored in the bank system. The card had been set up with her fingerprint too, back when she begged to borrow it for emergencies. At the time I thought nothing of it. Now it was evidence. Scrolling down I saw the biggest charge. $7,200 to a Fifth Avenue jewelry store. Her selfie outside the store matched the time on the receipt exactly. The bank security photo was even better. Her at the counter, card in hand, smiling. The next morning I walked into work like nothing had happened. Small-town post office, nothing fancy. Sorting mail, chatting with Mrs. Dwyer about her garden. But my mind was already in New York, following every digital breadcrumb she'd left. I printed the statements. Highlighted the purchases. Clipped them together in order. I even printed a couple of her Instagram posts to match the timestamps. That weekend, Dad hosted a welcome back barbecue for her. Everyone laughed, clinked glasses, acted like she'd just returned from a work trip. I stayed quiet, flipping burgers, waiting for the right moment. She came over, phone in hand, and whispered, "You're not still mad, are you?" It was just fun. Just fun. $18,000 was fun. I looked at her for a second, then handed her a plate. "Hope you enjoyed it," I said. She smiled like it was over. And that's when I knew. She had no idea what was coming. Because fun was about to get very expensive. On Monday I called the bank. No accusations. No drama. Just a calm request to review suspicious activity with their fraud department. The rep pulled up the account, went quiet and said, "Sir, do you want to file this under theft or authorized use?" "Let's go with theft," I said. Because once it's labeled that way, the case builds itself. Within hours, the claim was in motion. They froze her purchases, flagged the merchants, and started contacting each store. The best part? Every store had her on camera. Clear as day. Meanwhile, I didn't say a word at home. Let her post beach photos, clink glasses in rooftop bars, and smile for group pics. All of it, free evidence. By Thursday, she got her first call. I overheard it in the kitchen. "Yes, this is me. Yes, I used the card. Wait, what investigation?" Her voice cracked, but she tried to laugh it off. That night, Dad pulled me aside. "She says the bank is mixed up. Just tell them it's fine." I shook my head. "They're handling it." He stared at me for a long time like he was trying to figure out if I was bluffing. I wasn't. Saturday morning, a certified letter arrived. Bank letterhead. Fraud case number. Request for her to appear at the local branch with ID. She read it twice. Her smile didn't return this time. Still, I kept my routine: work, errands, coffee at the diner. I wanted her to feel the quiet. Because silence makes people think harder than shouting ever could. Late that night, she knocked on my door. "You can end this," she said. I didn't look up from my laptop. Why would I? You said it was just fun. She left without another word. And I knew, she'd finally realized it wasn't me she needed to convince anymore. By Monday it wasn't just the bank calling. 2 merchants had reached out directly, asking her to confirm disputed purchases. She tried to play it off. Oh, my brother must have used my name by accident. The problem was the receipts had her signature. And one store even attached the security still, her holding the cart shopping bag in the other hand. I sat at the kitchen table while she paced on the phone. Dad kept shooting me glances like I should jump in and fix this. But I sipped my coffee instead. In a small town, news moves faster than mail. By midweek, the whispers had started. Someone at the bank mentioned the investigation to their cousin. Their cousin told a friend at the diner. The diner waitress asked me if it was true. I didn't answer. At work, I checked my email. The bank had approved the initial fraud claim. $18,000 credited back to my account. But that wasn't the victory. The real win was knowing the refund didn't cancel the case. That night, she cornered me in the hallway. "You've got your money, so drop it," she said. I looked her straight in the eye. "It's not about the money anymore." Her face tightened. She didn't ask what it was about, maybe because she already knew. The next morning, I made copies of every bank document, every timestamp, every store email. Slipped them into a manila folder. Dropped it off at the branch manager's desk. On the walk back, I passed our neighbor, Mr. Halpern. He tipped his cap and said, "Heard your sister had quite the vacation." I just smiled. At dinner, Dad finally snapped. "You're tearing this family apart." I set my fork down. She did that when she bought a ticket to New York with my card. No yelling. No scene. Just the truth sitting heavy in the air. It happened at the grocery store. Small place, 2 checkout lanes, everybody knows everybody. I was grabbing coffee and bread when I heard her voice from the next aisle. Loud. Nervous. "I told you it's all a misunderstanding." I turned the corner. She was at the customer service counter, the bank manager's assistant standing right beside her. In his hand, my folder. The one with every receipt, every photo. She froze when she saw me. The assistant looked between us. "Sir, we just need to confirm, this is the account holder?" I nodded. "Yes, that's my card. And those are my charges, except I didn't make them." Her cheeks went red. Half the store was watching. Someone in line whispered, "Is that his sister?" She stepped toward me, lowering her voice. "You're making this worse." I kept mine calm. "No, you did that the moment you signed my name in a jewelry store." The assistant cleared his throat. "Ma'am, the bank will contact you for your official statement." He handed me the folder and left. I could feel eyes on my back as I walked to the register. She didn't follow me. That evening, Dad was waiting on the porch. "She's humiliated," he said. I shrugged. Actions have consequences. He didn't like that answer, but he didn't push. Maybe because he was starting to see there was no version of this where she was innocent. Later that night, I got an email from the bank. Merchants had confirmed the disputed purchases were unauthorized. Next step, formal notice to law enforcement. I didn't celebrate. Revenge, I've learned, isn't the moment someone falls. It's the slow walk they take toward it, knowing every step was their own choice. And she was halfway down that road. The letter arrived on a Thursday morning. Plain white envelope, local police department seal in the corner. I knew what it was before I even picked it up. She wasn't home, so I set it on the kitchen counter. Didn't open it. Didn't need to. By noon, she came through the door, sunglasses still on. Her eyes went to the envelope like it had been glowing. She tore it open, scanned the page, and went pale. "Notice to appear," she read out loud. Her voice cracked on the second line. "Regarding an active fraud investigation." For the first time in weeks, she didn't have anything clever to say. Just stood there, holding that paper like it might burn her. Dad looked up from his paper. "What's this about?" I didn't answer. Let her do it. "It's about the card," she said. Soft. Almost a whisper. And just like that, Dad's eyes shifted. Not at me, at her. The silence said more than anything I could have added. Later that day, the bank called to confirm my statement one last time. I gave them the same calm, direct answers I'd been giving since this started. Yes, I was the account holder. No, I did not authorize her to make those charges. Yes, I was aware she had physical possession of the card without my consent that night. When the call ended, I sat in my car for a while outside the post office. Small towns don't need newspapers to spread news. They have porches, coffee shops, and long memories. By now, enough people had heard the story that she couldn't step into the diner without feeling eyes on her. That weekend she tried one last time. cornered me in the driveway. "If you just tell them it was a mistake, this goes away," she said. I looked at her, my own sister, and wondered if she really believed that. "It isn't a mistake," I said quietly. "It's a record." The following Tuesday, she walked into the bank branch for her scheduled interview. I happened to be in the lobby signing paperwork for a P.O. box renewal. She didn't look at me when she passed. The manager gave me a polite nod, like we both understood what was happening without saying it. A half hour later, she came out, eyes glassy, face tight. The kind of look people have when they finally realize the story they've been telling themselves doesn't match the one everyone else sees. That night, I got a call from the fraud investigator. They'd completed their report. It would be forwarded to the merchant network and the local prosecutor's office. No threats. No raised voices. Just a slow, steady march toward the truth. And I didn't have to take a single extra step. By the next week, it wasn't just paperwork. It was people. People she knew. People we both grew up with. At the farmer's market on Saturday morning, she tried to browse like normal. Pick up flowers. Smile at vendors. But small-town air carries whispers. "That's her," someone muttered behind the jam stall. Another woman, bag of apples in hand, just shook her head. I didn't have to turn around to know they were watching her. She left early, walking fast to her car. Didn't buy a thing. That afternoon, Dad came to my room. "She's saying you've ruined her life," he said. I closed my laptop. "No," she's saying it out loud. "She ruined it quietly months ago." He didn't respond. Maybe he was finally out of ways to defend her. On Monday, the fallout reached the family group text. An aunt sent a long message about keeping things in the family and not involving outsiders. I replied with a single photo, her at the jewelry store counter, card in hand. No caption. No explanation. 3 people left the chat before the day was over. Midweek, the bank investigator called again. "Just a courtesy notice," he said. "The merchants have decided to file civil claims in addition to the criminal case." Which meant, even if the prosecutor didn't press charges, she'd still face demands for repayment. And those numbers weren't going to disappear with a smile or a family dinner. That night, I came home to find her in the living room, scrolling on her phone. The light from the screen lit up her face, but she wasn't really reading anything. "You don't get it," she said suddenly, not looking up. "This is going to follow me forever." I stood there for a second, then sat down across from her. "It should," I said. "Maybe then you'll stop thinking other people's money is yours to burn." For once, she didn't fire back. Just stared at the carpet. 2 days later, she skipped work. I overheard her on the phone, telling someone she needed time to figure out her next move. From her tone, it wasn't strategy, it was survival. By Friday, even Dad had stopped defending her. We had dinner at the kitchen table, the 3 of us, but no one spoke. Not about New York. Not about the case. Not about what would happen next. The silence wasn't heavy anymore. It was final. She looked between us, maybe realizing this was the last stretch of rope she had. But she didn't ask for help. And I didn't offer it. Because sometimes the only way someone learns is when there's no one left to pull them back. The court date landed on a bright Tuesday morning. Small courthouse. 2 flags out front swaying in the wind. Inside, the air smelled faintly of old paper and coffee from the vending machine. I sat in the back row, quiet, while she took her place at the defense table. Her lawyer whispered something, but she kept her eyes down. The prosecutor stood, outlining the evidence. Digital receipts, merchant security photos, social media timestamps. Every piece of it connected to her. She didn't glance my way once. Not when they mentioned the jewelry store purchase. Not when they read out the total amount, $18,042.37. When it was her turn, she said the words I'd been waiting for. "I made those purchases. I thought my brother would cover it, like family should." No excuses about misunderstandings. No talk of emergencies. Just the truth, spoken out loud in a room where it couldn't be taken back. The judge didn't need long. Restitution order for the merchants. Mandatory financial responsibility course. Case closed. I didn't smile. Poetic justice isn't about grins or applause. It's about balance, and balance had finally been restored. As the room cleared, Dad approached me. "Guess you got what you wanted," he said. I shook my head. "No. I got what was fair." Outside, she was standing by the steps, folder in hand. We locked eyes for the first time in weeks. There was no anger in mine and no defiance in hers. Just the weight of everything between us. "You're happy now?" she asked. I shrugged. "I'm not happy about any of it. But maybe now you understand why I didn't stop it." She didn't reply. Just turned, walked down the steps and blended into the sidewalk traffic. Later that week, the bank sent me a final letter. The account was secure. All fraudulent charges resolved. Balance, 0. I set the letter in my desk drawer not because I needed it but because it marked the end. The call stopped. The stares in town shifted from curiosity to quiet acknowledgement. Life moved forward. One Saturday while cleaning out the hall closet, I found her old travel bag, the one she'd carried to New York. Inside was a ticket stub from a Broadway show. On the back she'd scribbled in pen, "One day I'll pay you back." Maybe she meant it, maybe she didn't. But it didn't matter. Because this wasn't about money anymore. It was about showing her, and everyone else, that even in a small town, you can't outrun the truth forever.